What's going on, everybody? With Black Panther Wakanda Forever now being out in theaters for about a month, I decided that this was a perfect time to go ahead and rank all 7 of the comic book films that came out this year. Now, I'm not going to go in depth to all these films. If you want to see me go in depth, then you can check out the reviews that I have for each one of these films on the channel. I'm going to go ahead and post a playlist up here so you guys can go ahead and check that out. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the ranking. Now, this isn't going to be for everybody. Some of these films are going to be higher, some of them are going to be lower, but this is how I experienced each one of these films. So let's go ahead and get started. Coming in at number 7, I have Morbius. Talk about a movie with a lot of potential. A lot of people may have not been excited, but I was extremely excited since 2020 when we had the first trailer. But when the film got pushed and pushed and pushed, my excitement for the film kind of got lowered, and as soon as we got closer to the release date, things were being removed, the director was starting to spoil things, and when the film came out, it was the biggest joke of 2022. This movie was very disappointing on so many levels, but there were some aspects about this film that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the first 2 acts of this film, and then it goes downhill. I don't think this is the awful mess that everybody makes it out to be, but it surely was disappointing to me. Coming in at number 6, talk about another movie with potential. Thor, Love and Thunder, and it really hurts me to put it down this low, mostly because I really love Taika. I really love Thor Ragnarok. I really love what he was able to do with that film by balancing the humor but also having a lot of dark moments, and this movie just went more on the comedic side. There were a lot of jokes that fell flat. It felt like it was Thor at the comedy club, and it was just not the biggest film that you would want to see this year. It was very disappointing, and I've had no urge to watch it again. They literally butchered Gore the God Butcher by just butchering 1 or 2 gods and basically not doing a lot with his character. There were a couple of frightening moments with him, but overall, the final product for this film, it was just very lackluster and very disappointing. Coming in at number 5, I have Black Adam, a movie I was not really all that excited for. The trailers really didn't get me excited for this film, but the best way that I describe this film is more of a good movie in a bad movie's body. There were some good elements about this film, but watching it on a second rewatch, it wasn't all that memorable. There were a couple of key characters in this film that really didn't need to be there. The villain was shoehorned towards the end of the film, and it was just very disappointing, mostly because you had a lot of fun aspects. I really loved their interaction between the JLA. Their interaction was really fun. The biggest surprise was Atom Smasher, and there were just a lot of moments in this film that really could have elevated this film, but overall it was very disappointing to a degree. Coming in at number 4, I have Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Now, this film was very disappointing, mostly because it felt like it was dragging on for a little bit too long. That middle section when we're in Talokan really drags on for a little bit too long, and it was just very disappointing and very boring. There were a lot of emotional moments. This was a fantastic tribute to Chadwick Boseman, but there were a lot of plot points in this film that really didn't need to be there. You could have shaved about 20 to 30 minutes off of this film, and it would have been tighter, cleaner. There were choices in this film that I get, but I was not very big on. Watching it on a second rewatch, it really drags on a little bit too long, and it just makes me wish that it was a little bit more shorter. Coming in at number 3 is very surprising. I have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, a film that I liked when I first saw it, but grown in appreciation to this film the more that I rewatch it. There were a lot of fun aspects about this film. It takes a little while to get going, but once we get going into Sam Raimi's horror elements in this film, that is where this film comes to life, and I have a lot of fun with this film. I like the fact that they made Wanda the Vision. I thought she was scary, she was intimidating. There were a couple of moments here and there with her that were really cheesy and really didn't work, but the overall product for this film was really fun. I really liked the interaction between Doctor Strange and America Chavez. I think what they did with that pair was fantastic, and not only giving Christine Palmer a little bit more to do, even though it is a multi-version of herself, there were a lot of moments between Strange and her in the multiverse that I really enjoyed and thought was really fun and really explored a different element to that relationship. Even though the post-credit scenes in this film weren't all that fun, It was overall, I really enjoyed the whole film as a whole. It was a lot of fun. It was scary. The horror elements shine in this film, and I really appreciate this film on subsequent rewatches more than most probably. Coming in at number 2 is one of the biggest surprises of the film, and that is DC League of Super Pets, a movie that I thought looked very charming and cute. I know a lot of people probably didn't have a lot of expectations for this film, but I really enjoyed what they were able to do with this film and with all the Super Pets. They made it get behind Ace, and they gave him a really heartbreaking story that had me in tears and many dog lovers in tears. The chemistry between The Rock and Kevin Hart that we've seen many times still shines in animation forms, and I really liked and enjoyed a lot of the Super Pets in this film. Kate McKinnon as the villain in this film was a lot of fun. This movie was funny, it was charming, it was sweet, and it definitely did tease us for what was going to come in Black Adam, whether it was indirect or it was not. But coming in at number 1, the best comic book film of the year, and maybe one of my favorite films of the year, is The Batman. What Robert Pattinson was able to do by shutting down the haters was excellent. What Matt Reeves was able to do by giving us a dark and gritty look at Gotham City was fantastic. The Riddler was a fantastic villain, and there were a lot of moments where this film could have gone wrong, and I really enjoyed every single moment. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of 3-hour films, but this movie had my attention glued every single second to the screen. Everything about this film, from the cinematography to the writing to the action, the fact that it was very dark and gritty, and the fact that we really had the first detective noir Batman that we've seen on screen was fantastic. Everything about this movie, to me, was almost utter perfection. There were a couple of choices in this film that didn't vibe with me, but overall, every single moment, the relationship between Batman and Catwoman in this film worked. Zoe Kravitz absolutely killed it, and there were just a lot of things that I wanted to see in this film that were very pleasing. Most notably, Colin Farrell as Penguin, who is very unrecognizable in this film. But those are my ranking of the 7 comic book films of this year. How would you rank it? Go ahead and drop those thoughts in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on more. Click that bell notification so you get notified every single time that a video pops up. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side.